the video version is still kind of an experiment for CastaBlasta, so I know some of the cameras aren't super awesome, like the room cam's kind of a crappy camera.
And the Brian cam looks fantastic right now.
Yeah.
You mean the nostril cam?
But, here's what we're trying to do is we figure if it works, we'll keep doing it, we'll keep improving, because we'll also have, we can work in the screenshots here of what we're talking about, so we can show you guys some visuals of what we're talking about. So we're hopeful that it's going to work out, right, Brian?
I think we're hopeful that it's going to work out.
When we kick off, after you introduce everybody, do you want to just do a quick shout out in the audio version that we're also doing this in video if people want to see visuals what we're talking about? Just so that, because sometimes we get distracted by the visuals, so people ought to just know right up front.
Yeah, we don't want to tell you how to do your job,
it's usually
Brian.
Only when you bring up pictures of Scarlett Johansson's boobies.
Right. All right.
That was pretty distracting.
Megan Fox, you managed to pull.
Megan Fox, yeah.
I just want to make it clear.
Elijah
Tam last
Kate.
on. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm not objecting.
Evangeline.
Yeah, no.
All right, boys.
Really, we should just have a show where we look at pictures like that.
All right, Brian.
For an hour.
You give me the word. The video's recording, so you give me the word when you're ready to
rock
start.
And roll.
All right, here we go.
And welcome to CastaBlasta Season 3, Episode 5. My name is Brian. With me, of course, is Chris.
Hey there, Brian.
And John.
Here I am.
And Jeremy.
Hi there.
And I want to say before we get really rolling here that we're also recording this in super mega live video, which means if you are listening to the audio version of the show, you're only getting 2/3 of the show.
Most of the show.
The show is mostly in both of the ears, and then there's the visual. I don't really know how it works, because there's the left ear, there's the right ear, and then there's the visual plane, which might be stereo if you think of it in terms of two eyeballs. But
keep talking about this.
Yes, please. Yes. While the video version is a little rough, we do include visuals of what we're talking about as we go. So if we reference a video game or a movie, we try to show pictures of it. So it might be a little more interesting. If you're sitting at your computer anyways, you might want to watch that version.
You might want to, just to get in the case.
Right.
We will try our best to describe what it is we are seeing so you can experience it with us. Anyway, let's dive right into it. We got a lot of stuff to cover this week. There's a lot of news happening in movies and etc.
Yeah, you betcha.
And we're going to save, again, the spoiler stuff for the end of the episode. So if you've been watching, Heroes and Chuck and Lost and Dollhouse and Fringe and whatnot, we will not spoil it for you until about a half hour or so in. So we'll give you a little shout right before we're about to start spoiling it for you. But if you like spoilers, hey, why not? Just roll with it.
But Brian, it's like I always say, right? If there's some of these shows you might not want to watch, so we watch it so you don't have to. So sometimes it's worth sticking around.
That. You are always saying
hey, guys, don't I even say that all the time?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah,
I've got like 6 messages on my phone.
Yeah.
That.
Seriously, I stopped following you on Twitter just because you just kept saying that.
Spammer.
Let's get into
All right, I want to start out the show with the biggest news item in the past, I want to say quarter, at least.
All right.
Now, do the three of you remember the amazing movie Wanted, where you could bend bullets? Swinging your pistol
I saw that in the theater
Angelina
on
Jolie,
purpose.
where she had like way too many tattoos.
Yeah,
and you saw her butt, but you still didn't find it attractive.
Milk bath.
Turns out, Destiny's involved with sewing. So if you can sew, that's pretty cool.
The bath was awesome.
The bath was pretty awesome.
All you need is a bath.
So they're making a sequel to that, of course, right? Because the first one was just a filmmaking masterpiece of Wanted. So Wanted 2 is being made. Here's the great part. It is being written, hold your horses, everybody, by Evan Spiliotop Aulo.
Obviously, you know him well.
Now, I know this guy well, obviously. Now, you may be wondering, what else has Evan Spiliotop Aulos also written?
I gotta know.
Well, it turns out he's the guy behind the masterpiece Winnie the Pooh's Heffalump Adventure.
No.
And
that movie is extreme.
John, I so agree with you.
And the sequel,
I love the part where Pooh bends bullets.
Heffalump Adventure 2.
Piglet gets just torn up.
So this is the great part. Someone went from writing Winnie the Pooh movies, and he's now making the sequel to Wanted. There's something seriously wonderful about that.
What's great about it, though, is that that at least in one of his jobs, he was miserable.
Wanted to continue Wes's journey.
I don't know about that. If you think about that, if you were given the opportunity to write Winnie the Pooh, would you?
Oh, yeah.
If you were given the
have some
opportunity.
slash fiction of Winnie the Pooh.
Piglet
just in case they come
naughty
calling.
Adventure.
Yeah. Now see, just the same. If someone came to you and said, John, $1 million, write Wanted 2. More Wanteder or something like that.
I would do that.
Wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
And you'd love both of them.
Yeah.
This is how I'm thinking that Evan Spiliotop
Spiliotopoulos.
We're hanging out with him next week.
Is actually a pretty cool guy, and I want to be best friends with him.
Spiliotopoulos, right?
That's all I've
Yeah,
got to
he's
say.
got range.
All right.
that
Now let's
one
get
is
into
cool
some
name.
actual and important news. There haven't been a whole lot of Marvel-related news the last few weeks because we've been kind of... Iron Man 2 was just about to start filming, and they kind of were on lockdown. They weren't really talking about some of their new movies. They weren't really talking about much at all.
Except
But now,
John Favreau's on Twitter.
except John Favreau's, you can follow him on Twitter, and you get weird little mysterious blurbs here and there, which is a lot of fun.
Okay.
You can also
I like
follow-
Pepper Potts.
You can also follow the Marvel guys on Twitter, which is kind of cool. Anyway,
Hey, just
so-
just while we're talking about that, the guys that are developing Star Trek Online are also on Twitter.
the Cryptic Studios fellas.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
join Twitter, aren't I?
Yeah.
You got
you-
damn.
I don't know.
You probably should. Speaking of which,
There goes my life.
we actually had as a guest on one of the previous seasons of CastaBlasta one of the guys who founded Cryptic Studios and made City of Heroes. That's a whole different Rick Dakin. So we were wondering because there were spy shots of Gary Shandling being on the sets of Iron Man 2.
Right.
Well,
No,
what the
we
heck
talked
is
about that last
Gary Shandling doing on there, right?
We talked about it a lot.
Well,
last
now we
Yeah.
officially know.
Good.
He's playing basically the evil senator guy who wants Iron Man suits for himself.
I don't think it's that big a part still because I mean they already have two kind of main villains. It's probably just like, kind of a side plot.
It's
thing at that.
Gary Shandling.
Right.
If
right.
you were making a summer mega blockbuster and you had Gary Shandling, wouldn't you put him in like every scene?
No, based on his track record, I think he's hilarious. I don't think he's. As we talked about last episode, I don't think he's great in movies.
I'm not going
most
to
of
talk
the
to you
time.
about this anymore.
Okay.
Good
That's
cameo,
it.
though.
We're just done talking about this. All right. So all right. far more important. Transformers 2 has like a new video out. All right.
So now let me get this straight.
here's
They're
the-
robots in disguise.
They're robots in disguise. So now here's the
Robots?
thing.
They're
This
robots?
this new
Robots?
Transformers video that's out. It's about 2 minutes long, 2.5 minutes long. It's pretty good. There's a lot of robot battles going on. It looks great. There's shots of Bumblebee crying, which is
awesome.
yeah. I don't know how I feel about that yet.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. And then there's Megan Fox taking her clothes off.
Woo!
And
What?
That's
Maybe
like
that's why
the
Bumblebee's crying.
preview for the movie.
So
it's
fighting
beautiful.
robots,
Fighting robots.
emotional robots,
Right.
Yeah.
hot naked chicks.
Right. It
When-
kind of sounds like the perfect movie, doesn't it? Oh Lord, I just had that. Any comment? Comments?
Oh.
No, I think that's about it.
That's about it. All right. Well, we're just moving right along.
Okay,
then.
there we go.
Are we?
Transformers.
And John and Jeremy have nothing to say about
Well, no,
hot,
I'll
hot
talk about
naked
it when-
chicks or robots.
Well, I'm looking at the
fighting.
screen. For those of you who are watching this, Megan Fox is making an appearance, as she will be later tonight, in my head.
Yeah, so true, so true. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so on the same Marvel front, let's go back to that. We got a little bit more Marvel news, but not much to finish up. So, of course, we know that Marvel still doesn't have the rights to do the X-Men movies because that's owned by
Unfortunately.
that's owned by assholes.
Yes.
So X-Men Wolverine is coming out.
Yes.
Everything's very mixed about it. You know, the initial preview that got leaked and that
Mostly bad.
that some guy got fired for viewing and watching is horrible. And then of course the preview, the trailer looks good.
You got to keep in mind that
So-
that leaked version that went over the internet.
It wasn't done.
It wasn't.
No,
finished.
and it was several months old because even the shots that they put in the trailer were unfinished.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right. So, okay, that the screen that Chris is showing right now looks ridiculous. I've got to.
I think it's a
honest
fan
with
made
you.
one though.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the original buzz though from the leak was that overall just not a great movie.
It's not a great
Yeah.
movie, but
and that's not a great sign
so now
because
here's the thing.
I'm-
So
I wanted it to be a good movie.
So X-Men
worried about
1
that.
was decent. X-Men 2 was great. X-Men 3 was all right. And then I want to really like it a lot, but
It
it's really
wasn't.
hard to.
I want to too. It was
then
not
they're
a good
making
movie.
the prequel, X-Men Wolverine. I'm like, okay, you know what? The origin story of Wolverine that they're using is actually a pretty phenomenal story, so this could be great.
Mhm.
So the next X-Men movie they're making, it's confirmed, is and he's showing pictures of toys now, is a prequel. They're not making X-Men 4. They're not going to continue on with the story. Here's the problem, though. The prequel that they're making is actually X-Men First Class,
Yes.
which means it is literally the first class that graduates from Xavier's School for the Gifted.
See, that's cool though, because like they did this with Star Wars 2, and we got to see Darth Vader as a little kid, and that was pretty awesome.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that
Especially
worked out
pod
really
race.
well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
that
pod
was-
race
That's a
was
good
great.
point, John.
So
Yeah.
we get to see little kid Cyclops and little kid Beast, and little kid Cyclops has a crush on little kid Jean Grey, and I kind of want to stab in the forehead whatever studio producer greenlit this.
Now listen, Muppet Babies worked. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know, here's the thing though: if they made a Muppet Baby movie with like a huge budget, I would be there opening night.
Right, I know you would.
But for X-Men First Class, of all the X-Men, there's like 10,000 X-Men stories that they could pick from. All of them are substantially more interesting than a young, but not that young, not origin story young, just like angsty young,
Not quite there
but
yet.
like
Yeah.
One Tree Hill young Cyclops.
Hey, what's
That's
going on with my
what it is.
eyes, everybody?
I mean, that's just ridiculous, you guys.
People like the original X-Men, though. The problem is that like they're going to have to change things because Iceman was one of the original X-Men.
Yeah.
And he can't be because he's been in the other. If they're going to keep the continuity going.
Yeah, because they screwed with the age quite a bit.
Right.
Yeah, already.
Yeah. And it's all screwed up, and there's nothing really they can do, and it's effed.
It's a bad
effed is
idea.
what it
And
is.
if
It's a horrible
they
idea.
do Beast anything like they did in X-Men 3, I'm so out. Like,
yeah,
like Kelsey
yeah,
Grammer
yeah.
as Beast.
You didn't
was-
like Kelsey Grammer? huh?
No, no.
See, I actually kind of liked Kelsey Grammer as
I
Beast
actually
just
kinda
fine.
did too.
I didn't.
Um,
I did not like that character.
Because honestly, that's kind of how I always envisioned Beast's voice in my head. Was
Well, I
kind of
pictured him like that. Yeah, I
Kelsey
just I
Grammer-y,
still
too.
didn't like it though.
Well, I
don't
think
know
that's
why.
just the movie. I think that
It's
the
the
movie
movie is
and
bad.
the
The movie's
plot
bad.
and the lines
The
that they
movie is
gave
bad.
Beast were awful. But come on, Beast is
Oh,
awesome.
He has
The
one of the
prob-
best
Oh.
lines in X-Men 3.
Which
Oh,
is
my
what?
stars and garters. That's-
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
No.
good line.
It's a beast.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave that to be a
on
decision
my
from
ringtone.
the listeners. If you think Jeremy is retarded, let us know. So all
Where do
right.
I
So
vote?
that's the majority of the Marvel news going on right now. Now on the DC side of
Wait,
things,
wait, hold on. Can we just? This is just slight sidetrack, but there is
yeah.
kind of Marvel news.
What do we got?
Kind of. We got Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Buzz is they're going to be
The video game.
the video game. Yes, they're going to re-release it for the Xbox 360 and PS3, and it is.
That'd be cool. I like
It was
that.
it was a
That's
great game, and
because
re-releasing
I
it.
can already play it under emulation or on my old system.
Yeah, see, and the original was great,
Emulators
and
are
if they
too
do
much
it
work
anything
for
like they did the Street Fighter 2 HD remix, whatever that one was
It looked
called,
good. Yeah.
It'll be great. So the buzz is there's a countdown right now on Capcom's site, and it has like the theme music
Oh, nice.
from the original game, but it's supposed to be mysterious, but pretty much everybody's already called
Marvel
it.
vs. Capcom was a pretty great fighter.
It's
'Cause,
a
I mean,
great
come on.
fighter. Yeah,
Fighting, Chun-Li versus Spider-Man was just
That's
a
awesome.
really good idea.
It's really
just
cool.
what that comes down
it
to.
worked out way better than you think it would.
It
Yeah.
seriously did. All right, so we all know that there's more Spider-Man movies coming,
Mhm.
and we all hope to dear God that they're decent this time because Spider-Man 3 was just
not so great. Not so great.
Well, if only
And
they
the-
focused more on Venom
It
last
was a
time.
pooper.
yeah,
Brian, you were saying?
only the one Venom.
So Sony has decided that worked out so well. They're making an entire movie just about Venom. Literally, they're going to be making a movie probably either called Venom or just as Venom as the main star.
Is it going to have Topher?
For
Who's-
Grace.
I don't know. I really
Uh,
don't
He
know.
was terrible as
And
Venom.
it is just it is
was awful.
ridiculous. And I don't and the actor that played Venom, it's not that bad. There's nothing
Topher
wrong
Grace.
with him.
No,
I
but
mean,
he
he's
just
all
wasn't
right.
Venom enough.
He wasn't Venom, and honestly, how they did the CGI for Venom kind of just bugged me. It wasn't horribly wrong, but
Well,
it
here-
was wrong. Just
Venom's
the same.
Yeah.
face is one of the most recognizable supervillain faces in
Yes.
the entire comic book
It
world,
is.
and
Sure.
they
Mhm.
didn't use it.
Right.
They didn't. What's up with
Yeah.
I don't know.
that? Seriously, guys, that is
I don't
messed
know.
up.
I think there's better villains than Venom that I'm more interested in. I mean, I would have preferred a Sandman movie, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, just like the whole
if they're
movie.
if they're gonna pick one of those two villains for Spider-Man 3.
See, I don't even like Sandman though. So I mean,
I don't
Sandman
like.
was
It's not like I like him
boring.
that much. Oh, he was boring. I agree, he was boring. But
Yeah.
out of the two,
I don't know. Spider-Man 3 felt like a weird indie film. to
They
me.
could have
It
just done
felt-
up the
it just
Goblin.
was no good.
yeah, that would have been.
Yeah,
way
seriously,
better. Way
go,
better.
Right.
go the
Way
Goblin
better, way
route.
better.
So,
Yeah.
so
Or the
who knows
God,
what
or the
they're
Sandman.
doing?
I'd be down for Sandman too. I think.
Mhm.
You think so?
Yeah.
Over Venom, anyway.
Right. Exactly.
See, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, but now he's going to have his
I'm
own
feeling
movie
like
all
they
to
should just
himself.
reboot Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hope there's
Does-
more goth people.
Do we know if
I
this
hope more people
Venom
get
movie
emo.
is going to be somehow attached to Spider-Man 3?
No, there's no information on it. As far as I can tell, there's no writers currently attached full time to it.
Yeah.
But it has been
Good for you,
greenlit
Hollywood.
and it's happening. It's going to happen.
If you get approached
so that's
about
all that's
Venom,
going
turn
on.
it down.
Yeah.
If you have
please.
written a Winnie the Pooh movie, get approached to write Venom.
Oh, you know what? If they wanted to, Winnie the Pooh guy gets to write it. I'll be right there. I will see
I'm in
it.
demand.
I have no idea why, but I'm now a fan of that guy. No reason to be, but I am now a huge fan of that guy. All right. So the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. The first one.
Caribbean.
Yeah,
No.
the Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah,
Caribbean.
I went to Disneyland and they said Caribbean.
All right.
The one chick that was like 16 who took my tickets, she said Caribbean. So that's official from
gotta
Disney
know.
word. She's Disney staff member.
You know, you joke about it, but those cast members take their jobs seriously.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
That wasn't a joke. You were
Sure.
taking what I said as a joke, which tells me how little you respect me as an artist. So Gore Verbinski
what?
made
The secret's out.
the first 3 pirate movies, right? And the
Yeah.
first one was great. The second one kind of made you itch a little bit, but you watched it. And the third one just really, it made you pick up one of those folding chairs and go all WWF, and you went just like Hulkamania crazy.
It's funny because I had to bring my own folding chair because they didn't have them at the theater I went
No.
to. Yeah,
That's
me
just
too.
inconsiderate.
Me too. So, of course, they're making Pirates
heed,
of the
movie
Caribbean
theaters.
4, right? So, of
Yeah.
course, they are doing that. We talked about that previously. And Gore Verbinski has now stated explicitly he will have nothing to do with it. He's not involved. It's done.
But why?
So, he's doing that so he could focus his efforts entirely on the Bioshock movie.
Oh man, see, I love the
Slated for
Bioshock story.
2010.
I love that story. I love that game, but a movie of it does make me nervous. They have to get like the atmosphere right, the story right without overdoing it. And I don't know how it'll translate, but
I don't know.
he might.
I think
you
it
know,
could
he,
be great.
Like Gore does have like a visual style, you know. So
He does.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that he might be a decent choice for
He
it.
could pull this one off. I really have I have faith in the guy. I mean, he did
Well,
make
so
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Is
3, but-
anybody involved with the video game going to be involved with making of
I-
the movie?
Yeah, I believe they're involved. So, I have hope. I have a lot of hope,
And
and I like the fact that he's saying, you know what, the Pirates thing, that's done.
Film
I'm doing
adaptations of video games are always hits.
They really
so-
are. They really
Yeah,
are.
I have high
100%
hopes
of
for
the
this one.
time.
And on that same note, they've released a trailer, I believe, for Bioshock 2. It's going to be out by the end of
Yeah.
the year. So
That's going to be cool.
It looks
right?
pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, it was an actual trailer. I think I only saw the teaser.
Yeah, probably
It's
was
it's just a teaser,
Yeah.
Okay.
where it's just like standing on the shore,
Yeah.
doing the
Singing a
subway.
song.
But they've posted some screens and stuff. You can see that there's like kind of a big mom and big sister they call them, I think. Which is
Big sister, huh?
Yeah, a girl version of the Big Daddy.
That
Dinner.
could be attractive.
It's super attractive.
All right, so
You
gonna
get turned
go
on by
ahead
the
and-
Scooby Doo part in the beginning where they show the guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. It's
I
all
should
that.
really not be sitting in this position right now.
No.
All right, so we got 2 more bits of news I want to touch on before we get into the TV stuff.
All right.
Now, one kind of touches close to my heart, and that is Little Shop of Horrors. I love.
Oh, wait, just hold on before we move on. Someone in the chat room, Commodore 256, I got to know, have we heard any rumors on who's going to play Andrew Ryan in the Bioshock?
No,
I
no.
have not, and
No.
that'll be cool.
Because
There
if they
are no
nail
rumors.
that could be really cool.
Uh-huh.
All right,
Yeah,
sorry.
there are no rumors on who's going to play.
Continue,
Blake Ryan.
sir.
Well, they
Yeah.
haven't even really confirmed if it's going to follow the video games, right?
No, there's
Bioshock's
no
It'll
a
have
big
to.
genre. They can
It'll
write
have
whatever
to.
they want.
See that's actually the thing. One of the creators of Bioshock, one of the guys behind the game, said explicitly that it's a big world they've created, and there's every reason that this could be an origin story. This could be Andrew Ryan establishing it.
Right,
This
it
could
really
be
could
all
be
sorts
anything.
of things, and so we just don't know.
I do like the story they told. I mean, they could make a
The
number
story
of
they
movies
told was phenomenal.
if they do well.
But if
Right.
if you think about it, the story they told was really the story of a guy who got duped, and all these different things.
Yeah.
And so if you take it from a different person's perspective, it's going to become a whole different story. What about the story of the city before it got plunged into
Right.
the chaos
oh yeah,
it was in?
there
About
really
the
is
battles
so
that
much they can
ensued.
do because
Yeah.
I mean, the
It's-
story
it
kind of
could go
begins
all
at the
over.
tail end of Rapture, really.
Right.
So
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So anyway,
can't wait.
so a Little Shop of Horrors. Of course, there's the musical. Phenomenal musical.
Rick Moranis, great.
Great.
Yeah.
Rick Moranis. Steve
Ellen
Martin
Green,
was in
later
it.
of Pushing Daisies.
Yes,
Yes.
also a great show. Wish that one would
Yeah,
come
Steve
back,
Martin.
but it's not going to. But Little Shop of Horrors was great. Of course, it's a remake of an old black and white film that was kind of it was a comedy, but it was more of a dark, macabre comedy. It was
Right, with
definitely
a
not
message against
musical.
nuclear power.
Yeah,
Right. Don't
Now-
feed the plants.
Now, of course, it's the plant that eats people. In the original black and white version, the plant would eat someone and grow a new flower, and that flower would actually have
Aw.
a face picture of the person it just ate, because
Right.
the plant has like a photo studio inside of its belly.
And that
It's like
it's adorable.
a Polaroid.
It's kind of adorable,
it's
right?
a Polaroid plant.
A
Anyway,
keepsake.
they're remaking it again.
Starring
This
Jack
time-
Nicholson as the dentist, right?
Yeah, the original black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This time it's being made, and there's going to be no singing in this one. as a non-comedy, straight horror film. No, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous that we have a plant that's going to kill us. There's no making fun of it. It's just a horror film that's on the level of a slasher film of Little Shop of Horrors.
That could be really terrible. Because
Yeah, it sounds
really
bad to
terrible.
me. It sounds bad to me.
It sounds awful.
I think one of the
It's just,
If they can get Christopher Guest again, that'd be awesome.
I think just 100% of the charm of Little Shop of Horrors is the ridiculousness, the campiness
it's
of
over
it
the
all.
top. Yeah,
It's
that's
way
the
over the
whole
top.
point.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had to say that. Write your senators, ladies and gentlemen. Do not let that happen. The other little tidbit that's coming out
As long
is,
as they just call it like Plant Eater or
no,
something. Don't
it's going to be Little Shop of Horrors.
crap.
Yeah, that's,
Maybe if they
that's
call
the
it
whole thing.
Crappy Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Crappy Horrors.
So
Crappy little crap of crap.
the Hobbit movies. Now, Guillermo del Toro is directing the new Hobbit films.
Yes.
And of course, Peter Jackson's been involved heavily, and his production studios is the one doing it. He just doesn't want to direct them. So now it's been confirmed that what they're going to do is Guillermo del Toro of Hellboy fame and Pan's Labyrinth and so many other movies. He's
so good.
He's phenomenal.
His visual style is one of the best out there.
One of my
I think.
favorite directors that there is.
They could have him do Bioshock.
If only he
Oh,
weren't
seriously.
Spanish, because he just talks Spanishy all the time. I don't know what the heck he's saying, Guillermo. Change your name to Todd and just start speaking normal like.
Hey, I'm Todd. I like to do Pan's Labyrinth.
Let's do Pan's Labyrinth. It's
Hey, I'm
scary.
Dad.
I've got eyeballs on my hands.
Fascinating.
So anyway, what they're doing is they're taking The Hobbit, of course, and they're breaking the main Hobbit story into 2 films.
And the original Hobbit Hobbit book is pretty short. It's something you can read in like a few hours.
So now they're going to be filling it with some of the Silmarillion material, but as a whole, it's just going to be the Hobbit movies, the Hobbit story into 2 films, and there's going to be no film, as was rumored, that bridges the time between the Hobbit and the
Well, that was
Fellowship.
when we first heard that there was 2 films. A lot of people
That was
thought
what everyone
it would be
assumed.
Hobbit and Bridge.
Because Hobbit is so short.
Right.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But apparently they're going to spend a lot more time on Gandalf's adventures during the time of the Hobbit, which are only basically alluded to if you read the book.
Yeah.
It's like basically Gandalf went and did this.
Well, I mean, it might be cool. I mean, the thing about The Hobbit is, I mean, it's really kind of it's a kid's book.
It is.
And
Yeah,
Lord of the
it
Rings
really
is not. I mean, it's funny that he made a sequel to The Hobbit that's an adult, pretty hardcore
Well, he was
fantasy
telling
book.
stories.
Well,
to
I know,
people,
I know.
And
He
their
wanted to
the
write-
kids got older.
Yeah,
Originally,
and that's
he
true.
wanted to write the Silmarillion, but nobody was going to buy that kind of crap. He wanted to create the world.
Dude, I have a hard time reading that kind of crap, and I really like the Lord of
yeah,
the Rings.
so-
His son has made a career off of his notes that he wrote
I know.
for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
that's
kinda
that's how
ridiculous.
detailed his world was.
So it's interesting. I don't know. I have hopes. I mean, come on. The first trilogy was amazing.
Yeah.
So
Well, you definitely have the right director behind this. I mean, if you're going to choose a director to do this and to split it up into 2 and to kind of make what is essentially a kid's book into a more adultish
Guillermo del Toro
movie.
can do it.
Yeah.
And it could be phenomenal. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out because it's actually kind of made me really happy. All right, we got a little bit of video game news. Not a lot though. There's another Fallout game coming. Not a sequel. Jeremy, would you like to talk about this briefly?
Yeah, it looks like they've had a few, I think what were gameplay trailers for it, but it's set in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
A nuked Las Vegas. I
It's
think
just-
that'll be really
It's
cool.
Fallout
just
World,
basically-
just
what
not a
they,
sequel.
It's what they did with the current Fallout game, where it's not a sequel. It's not even related. It's just
just set
it
in a
happens to
different-
be
yeah.
in the same
Yeah.
world,
Same kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
and it's
Sure,
just,
there's a
it's just
Pip-Boy.
another game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did the same thing with the original Fallout and Fallout 2, though.
But hold on. One of the
There
things
was
that we should
only-
note about this is it's
That's
being
true.
put out.
That's true.
It's being put out by a different developer, I believe.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's
Fallout-
Obsidian,
this
I think,
current
who
Fallout's
did
good.
Knights of the Old Republic 2. Those people. So we'll see how it goes.
Good game though.
Yes, yeah, it is a good game.
Good developer shop.
So it has the potential to be good. It's moving because I think Bethesda, is that how you pronounce it?
Bethesda.
Bethesda Softworks. Yeah.
Yeah, they did the last one.
Yeah.
It was
And-
good.
and it was
phenomenal
really
good.
good. It's
Yeah.
really really good.
Well, I mean, I guess if they take that and just expand it further, and if essentially it's going to be like a mixture between Fallout and I'm thinking Rainbow Six Vegas.
Probably
I don't know.
exactly like
yeah,
that.
I'm thinking as long as it has the team combat aspect, where you
Except
can
a little bit
bungee
more
down the
upbeat,
side of
a
buildings.
little bit more
I'm going to
upbeat.
be pretty excited about it.
With some
More wiggles.
peppy music in the background.
More wiggles.
More the wiggles. Yeah.
like wiggles as in me wiggling, or wiggles as in the group that sings to children.
The group that sings to children.
Oh,
I think it fits perfectly in the Fallout universe.
it does.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
There's
All right.
also-
So, all right. Last little bit of news. Comic book related news. And Jeremy brought this to my attention. I'm not exactly sure how I missed this one, but Ed Brubaker is rumored to be writing a new Captain America series that is like.
Well, it's a Marvel series. It's called Reborn.
Reborn. It's called Reborn.
It's Reborn.
We don't actually. I don't know that it's been confirmed that it's Captain America, but it's Ed Brubaker who is the writer.
Captain
of
America.
Well, Captain America died, and they don't tend to bring people back
No,
in
no, no,
comics.
no. Well, okay.
No,
No,
never.
No. Here's the thing, because the current Captain America is Winter Soldier. So that's how that worked. It's Bucky. It's Winter Soldier that took over as Captain. He's just not the original guy that was Captain America. Captain America is kind of like a symbol. It's like Batman. Technically, there's been
Steve
a bunch of
Rogers.
Batmans. So that could
So
get
there-
connected.
Just
yeah.
one Green Lantern.
Although they've said it also contains some sort of wicked twist.
Oh, nice. I do like
So-
the wicked twist. All right,
Yeah.
all right. Let's move on. I have no idea what's gonna happen.
It's just
with
a
that.
5-comic series. It's
Oh,
a short one.
So
And
it's
it's not out
it's a
yet, yeah.
one-off basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mhm.
but if they bring Captain America back, that's going to have ramifications.
Plus, it's Ed Brubaker. He writes good quality stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not like he writes.
He's the one who
crap.
killed him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the killing of Captain America was tight.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that quite a bit.
very emotional.
Yeah,
Take
I got
that.
a major nerd on for that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into the TV stuff because we got a lot of TV
All
to
right.
talk about, and none
Here
of
we
it's
go.
all that terrible, so that's pretty exciting. If you don't want spoilers, please
Spoilers.
pause now. All right, let's
Pause.
start off right off the bat with the fact that we are not
Can I pause
watching
now?
Fringe.
Yes, we are.
No, we are not.
I've been watching. Jeremy and I have been watching Fringe.
All right, guys.
Um,
Chris, have you been watching Fringe?
No, sir.
I stopped watching Fringe.
Yeah,
I
it was on
was.
break
I was
for-
Chris
hyping
and
it up
Brian?
a bit.
Well, you see,
Great.
the thing is, I just I don't like to have my eyeballs bleed when I watch TV.
It's not as bad as it was, but it's still not good. So,
not great.
so I'm
High
not
five in the
thrilled that
audio
I've seen the
world.
last 2
In
episodes.
the week
but I
leading
have.
up to Fringe's big return to television, there was a bunch of specials and hype.
Oh yeah.
And interviews with the
Well,
cast
Hype
and
always
everything.
makes for great
that
TV.
Always
No.
gets me
Yeah.
excited.
The hype didn't really.
no.
So
Haven't
what's
lived up
happening,
to it.
guys? Is it pretty great? Do you recommend that everyone watch
The
Fringe?
No.
most recent episode. Well, let me say this. This premise is ridiculous.
All right.
They're always ridiculous.
Ready for it.
You're getting
that
me
one was actually
excited
super
already.
Cool. It
But
was like
the-
a monster.
The
and
most. It was kind of cool. There was a monster. Monsters can be cool.
Uh,
But some of the writing and acting was really top notch. Some of the best that they've had on the series. I'm not going to say it was great, but it's the best so far.
I didn't. I don't hate it. I just don't need to watch it. I've just been watching because I figure we might be talking about it here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
I've
now
even-
if I find out we're not going to, if it's
I'm
like 3
not
against
even
1, then-
recording it
Yeah, I was just
anymore.
gonna say I was like making myself a little stash, but
Mhm.
I canceled the
stopped.
recording too.
Yeah, I couldn't handle it. It was just too much. Nah.
Not
Here's
good.
what irks me. Okay,
Yeah, it
so
didn't
I'm not
make
really
me
loving
angry
it.
enough to get into it.
And then,
Right.
but my TiVo's recording it. I watch it. It's cut off by like 10 minutes because of American Idol or something. So I have to go online and watch the rest of it.
Extra
I have to go
effort.
seek out the show I don't care
Extra
well,
effort.
at
Yeah.
least you got to watch American Idol. So
Yeah, that was
let's move
awesome,
on to
actually.
actually something that's happening that's really cool. And we don't talk about this show
forgot to
much,
turn
and we
my phone
should.
Good job.
Let's
Jeremy.
talk about Chuck.
I know.
about. Oh, it's
Oh,
good.
Chuck's
Holy-
good.
Especially the last
crap.
episode yesterday
Can't go
was
So
wrong.
they
really good.
They of course added in Chevy Chase as the mega supervillain.
That's awesome.
Dangerous move,
Now,
but he's
and
been good in
It's
it.
Yeah.
phenomenal. Now
Yeah.
here's the thing. Of course, what was one of the previous villains? Andy Richter.
Yep.
Now
Yep.
I started,
like
I
Andy
started thinking
Richter.
about it, and I'm like, they were both great. I got really excited when Chevy Chase and Andy Richter were the villains. And I started thinking, what about start bringing on, like, maybe add in, flesh out all of Fulcrum's bad agents with Norm Macdonald.
Oh, that'd be
Uh,
wicked.
That really would be good, actually.
John
Norm Macdonald's a good
Lovitz.
choice.
I started thinking
Yeah.
about
No,
him.
he
Gary
screws up
Shandling.
everything. Everything he's in gets canceled.
Gary Shandling. You know what? Steve Miller. Let's just
Steve Miller Band, yeah.
Yeah, Steve. All right, so I screwed that one up, but you get my point here. Let's just bring it in like that, and
I think it'd be rad.
it's been phenomenal. Plus, we have the captain of the friggin'
Yeah,
first
let's not kid
Enterprise.
ourselves.
Right.
We got Scott Bakula.
And
Scott.
that's the way.
Bakula.
If you're watching Chuck, they actually like, you want more Scott Bakula? Like they're like, you want more Scott
Yeah,
Bakula?
they actually you want some more
He
Scott
did
Bakula.
some like NBC teaser, and then he wasn't even in like
That
2 episodes ago.
episode?
Yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
wait a
It's
second.
seriously, it's like those bacon treats that they have for dogs, where it's like bacon, and like, you want some bacon? You want some bacon? And that's what they do. Like, you want some Scott Bakula?
Bacon.
You want
See,
some Bakula?
I didn't always
Only
like
one thing
him.
smells like Bakula, and that's Bakula.
I didn't always like him in the Enterprise, but I think he's doing a really good job
you
here.
really did, though.
Well, I like Scott Bakula a lot. I just didn't think he was always the best
You
actor
really
in it.
liked
But
him in
I think he's doing a
Enterprise,
great
yeah.
job now, and it's exciting to watch. It's
It's
how they
phenomenal.
they pretty much took their premise and threw it out the window in this last episode.
Yeah.
Well, for now.
Well,
You can
yeah,
always
yeah.
get reflashed.
It'll probably come back, but you got the intersect out of his head. They kind of ended the team.
Kind of, sort of. They can always
it's like,
reflash.
yeah.
That's an easy reset.
It is an easy reset, but it's still.
Are you trying to tell me that they're being daring and ambitious? Is that
Yes.
what you're trying to tell me? Is that you're upset because they're
groundbreaking.
being
In a
daring
I'm not.
and
No.
ambitious?
I'm not upset. I'm like excited about it.
Get a rope.
No, I'm happy about
It's
it.
good
was a
TV.
salsa
It is.
reference.
It's good. They've
I'm
got.
really happy about it.
They give some good solid geek nods, which is
Seriously.
nice.
Oh yeah,
And
Tron.
they got lots of Tron, and
Just
they
Chevy Chase movies too.
always
Even
have.
Spies Like Us,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot more Chevy Chase nods in the previous episodes, but still, it's been phenomenal. It's just been a really good, general, all-round nerdy show. Girls in their underwear, it's great. So
Yeah, definitely had that.
the season finale is this next week. But
Wait,
You got to wonder what they're gonna. I mean,
that wasn't the finale.
no,
No,
it felt like
next
one
week-
because
next
everything
week's
got wrapped up in
phenomenal.
a nice little package. But
Yeah,
no,
it did feel like a finale.
No, next
Yeah.
week's the
It felt like a
finale, and they're
series
going to
finale.
give Chuck the intercept back in next week. I'm sure of it. That's just
You
what's going
think
to
so?
happen. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, they
they've
got
already
his
set it up.
friend. What's his name?
Morgan.
No, not Morgan. The Bryce Larson.
Right.
They've got a few
his
people floating
frenemy,
around.
if you will.
Yeah.
But he's back
His
in the next
frenemy.
episode.
Friend to me.
I hate myself.
Friend
You
to
watch
me.
a lot of WB, my friend.
No, I just read TMZ non-stop.
Okay, wait a minute. I need to do an aside here briefly. What the hell does TMZ mean?
I have no idea.
Because, I just flipping through the TV the other day,
The monstrous zebra.
Oh.
and conversation is dead.
Done.
All right, so let's talk briefly about 24 before we get into Lost and Dollhouse and the like.
Are you sure you're ready to do this?
I'm never going to be ready to do this.
I
because
can
this
sum
is
up 24.
insane. Yeah, go for it.
Tony Almeida, WTF.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That was the whole sum up?
That's it.
All right, Chris.
Hello.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Chuck's a great show. Everyone needs
Hello,
to be
Sarah
watching
Walker.
Chuck. Here's the thing, though. I prefer his sister. Chris.
24 has been
24.
crazy.
Bring on the
24 has
24.
been nuts. All right, so
good.
you got
show.
Jack Bauer. He's infected. That's crazy. You got Jack's daughter. She sucks, but whatever. That's the weakest part of the show.
She's still
So
pretty,
it
though.
always has been. Then you've got Tony. Guess what? Tony? He's a bad guy. Tony's a freaking bad guy. Tony is a freaking bad guy all along. And guess what? Jack knows. Jack knows now. Jack knows
and
Tony's
here's
a bad
the-
guy.
here's the thing.
Tony knows Jack knows.
Not only is he a bad guy, he's like the best possible bad guy.
He really
who can
is.
play everyone from every angle constantly, and you see it in Tony's eyes now that he knows it, and he thinks he's fucking badass, and it's just awesome.
He's so bad he gives Jack seizures.
Seriously.
Think about that. And to give the show credit, they've been hinting at this since season 1. Where they were
they
doing the
kinda have.
red herring of him being bad. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they've been alluding to it, and I love it. I mean, for a while there, we were thinking, oh, you know what? Maybe this is going the route of, Tony's going to be the good guy, and Jack's going to die. Tony's going to take over the show, and they were almost setting Tony up to be like the next Jack Bauer.
Says you.
Yeah.
then-
no, I seriously
And
thought
says
they
I
were.
you
thought,
guys.
I thought they were doing that because they kept every episode Jack got sicker, and every
Right.
episode Tony got more awesome and
Right.
more of a good guy,
Uh-huh.
and they started making these illusions like, oh, you know what, Tony, I'll talk to the president for you.
Yep.
You
Right.
know what, Tony, thanks for serving your country. I wasn't sure of you,
Exactly.
but now I know you can get the job
And
done.
then bam, psych your mind.
Yeah, boom, he kills a guy with his hands.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Holy
does.
crap.
Yes, he
like
does.
a
Hands made
big
of
character.
weapons.
He just holds him down and kills him with his hand because that's Tony and he's friggin' awesome. Anyway, it's a great show. We've only got 7 episodes left?
It's coming up.
It's coming up. So I mean
It's been
late.
so
It's like,
good, though. It's been such a good
But he's
season.
still, yes, it really has such a contrast to last season.
It's great. This show
And
is
he still likes
phenomenal.
Zach though. He didn't kill Jack when he could have. Which so.
But okay,
there's
let's
still
be
some kind of
honest. Let's
friendship
be
there.
honest. The daughter is still the weakest.
Oh, she's
yeah.
totally is. She's bad.
yes.
She's pretty, but she's
pretty.
bad.
But
She's
like,
really bad.
you know what it is I think she's a bad actress, and then she
No,
has
she is.
she has bad lines. So she's a bad actress with bad lines.
Uh-huh.
And probably poor direction.
But you
on
know,
top
you
of
know
it
who
because
has
nobody cares
who has
about
the
her.
lamest
Right,
character
exactly.
in the show though?
Hit
Huh.
me.
Janine Garofalo.
Oh yeah.
The
she
last
does. Yeah, she
5
does.
episodes, she's been in every episode.
Yep.
And the only
Yep.
thing they do is someone walks by her, hey, can you pull that up on screen? And she goes, huh? Okay. Click.
Yeah,
and that's
know.
all Janine Garofalo
I know. I feel bad
does.
for her. It's like she must be getting just a ton of money. and
They're doing
decided They
something.
don't need her at all.
She's fallen so
Or she
far
needs
from Mystery
work.
Men.
Yeah.
They're gonna do something for her. They're gonna do something for
I
her.
hope
She's
so.
because a couple episodes ago she was asking a lot of questions. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
notice-
still though.
She was.
Yeah, but she was still asking a lot of questions. I think
She's probably
something.
working for Tony.
Dude,
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that'd be
that
cool.
would be
That'd
badass.
cool.
That's what I think is going to
Janine
happen.
Garofalo and Tony Almeida.
Yeah. So now, do you think?
I'd like to see her kill somebody.
kiss.
I want to see her kill somebody.
Do you think?
Wow, me and John went separate directions on that one.
Yeah. Do you
Maybe
think?
not.
Do you guys think they're setting Tony up to be Jack's next Nina? Because we've never had like a Nina type rival.
Oh man, that was just so good. You remember?
Yeah.
What was
That's
it?
gonna be
Season 3 or
great.
something when like Nina got in the car with him and he just looks at her and smiles because he hates her so much. It's
Yeah, and
you
she knew.
Yeah.
She's in a world of hurt. That lady, and she was.
Man.
She was. She ended up dying.
Oh,
Spoiler.
those were good times.
For
Those
season
were
3.
really
Boy,
good
don't
times.
search Google Images for Nina.
Or do.
Safe search off. All right. So okay, let's get into the Dollhouse briefly and then into Lost because there's a lot of meat to talk about in Lost, really. But Dollhouse first, it's just really good.
It is.
That's just all there is to
It's been
it.
entertaining. I didn't
It's been a really
find them
good show.
super memorable, but I wasn't entertained watching them.
It's just been a good show. I gotta recommend Dollhouse if you haven't been watching it.
Yeah,
I
it's-
know it was. I know everything was iffy on it for a while, but it keeps getting better.
Yeah, I will say
and better.
now
and
it's
better.
a good show.
It has got-
it was not original.
It has gotten better. It definitely has gotten more enjoyable. It's now at the level of there's a few episodes I'm genuinely happy I watched, and then there's a few episodes where it's like, oh, I didn't need to watch that, but at least it was something
Yeah.
kind of nerdy.
It's moved past just like, well, Joss Whedon made this, so I'll watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
no, that's-
very, very good.
It's a strong show on its own now.
Yeah.
I would honestly, I would put Dollhouse as significantly better than the vast majority of TV on right now, including Lost and a lot of other shows. So it's really
well.
really
Maybe we
been
can talk
good.
about that in a
I
bit.
would disagree with that, and not just because I'm a Lost fanboy, but I do like the show.
Oh, really? You like shows that are just prequels? Hey, let's talk about Lost now.
Okay.
So Lost for the last about
Previously
half season
on Lost.
has not moved
Previously
forward at all.
on
Now
Lost.
I've been kind of backtracking on Lost. I was a Lost hater for a while, and the last few episodes, 10 episodes, I've been like, you know what? Lost keeps getting better. Lost is getting good. It's entertaining again. I have now hit the critical threshold where Lost has overstayed its welcome, and I really wish that really entertaining guest would leave my house now, because nothing happens at all. They have now shored
man.
up the storylines to make it so that this entire season did not need to exist for any of the plot to occur. And
Maybe that was Danielle's point home, that a lot of things
See-
don't matter.
so it's a show. I'm
No,
sorry,
I-
they have already had a show about how nothing matters and nothing happens. It was called Seinfeld, and it was great. I really do not need a all-drama version of Seinfeld on a deserted island. I'm sorry, I just don't need that.
Now-
I'm sick and tired of this, because this show, it really did. It was like this last episode. There was stuff happening. There was action.
I
there
gotta
was stuff
disagree.
moving,
I
and
gotta
just,
disagree.
It was like,
It's-
wait, nothing?
Sure, it's not moving in these crazy huge swings, but every episode for the last 3 or 4 or 5 have ended on a pretty significant cliffhanger, and it's been kind of an interesting twist each time. Now, sure,
Really cliffhanger? So wait, so you're saying that the future might be in peril, so they're not going to crash on the island?
no. Here's the
Because
thing.
we already know they do in the future.
Boy, you are going to be
Right.
fun pants when it's time to review Star Trek.
See, I would agree with Brian in a sense. I think that there have been some episodes this season where I just like I've been just kind of nonchalant about it. I haven't really. I've enjoyed watching them, but he's right. They didn't really move things along. I thought the Miles-centric episode, just the last episode, was kind of one of those. It's still answering some questions.
I like the Miles.
I liked it too.
episode.
I enjoyed it a lot. I like Miles a lot as a character,
Yeah,
but
and they-
he's
and
right
I-
as in
Yeah.
it didn't
Now,
really advance
I'm not
things.
totally satisfied with the way they explained his speaking of the dead, because it
They
doesn't.
didn't explain it. They didn't explain
well,
it at
and
all.
it doesn't quite play with what he's done in the past.
Mhm.
Like it doesn't quite play with him walking over graves, and then he can like just pick something off.
Right.
It kind of still plays, but it's not quite perfect yet. But I'm happy overall. I think Miles is interesting. I think the show has been interesting. I don't think the show has been blowing me away, but I think it has had some interesting twists. I don't think it's been as bad as Brian's making it out to be.
No, not
All
at all.
right.
And the episode 2 weeks ago, the ending of that, I loved. I loved when Ben sees his dead fake daughter, and she's like, "Hey, guess what? I know you still want to kill Locke. You better not do that, sucker."
That was kind of a neat episode, right, Brian?
It was pretty cool.
It's kind of a neat episode,
Honestly,
right?
if they'd worded it like John worded it, it would have been a lot better. But yeah, it was all right.
Yeah,
that was a
So
good
now-
episode. I like that a lot. And you got to kind of see that there's like some kind of Egyptian things going on. They had like stuff for like Anubis.
Egyptian does not make
Cool.
a good
wrong,
story.
wrong, Mr. Stargate.
Stargate is cool. And you know what? So was the original Battlestar, which also had Egyptian stuff in it, but that's
Right.
okay. Now here's the thing. Here's what cemented for me
Okay.
that this show is ass-tarded.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
And it was this last episode. It was now you remember they made a lot of the Star Wars jokes, right?
Yeah.
Hurley was driving around.
Oh,
and
right.
here's hold on.
I agree with this part.
See where I'm going with this one. Now the Star Wars jokes, okay, some of them were lame, but it was kind of cute that they were making them, so I went with it for a while. So Hurley is supposedly writing Empire Strikes Back, right? Okay, in a journal, because it's before Empire was made, so theoretically he gets off the island and sells the script to George Lucas for Empire Strikes
Well, that's
Back.
his plan. It's not theoretically. It's just that's his plan.
So that's his plan, right? Now, he's going through and writing it, but he's thinking, you know what? I'm going to make it a little bit better. And the way that they word this speech that Hurley gives about him making Empire Strikes Back better tells you that this is the point the writers of the show are trying to make about shows and about life and all these other things.
What?
Now it was not worded as a joke. Now
disagree.
here's what at the end he said that Enterprise. Whoa! Whoa! Rewind it off 5 seconds.
Whoa!
You just lost all your cred, sucker.
Empire Strikes Back. He said that Empire Strikes Back would be better if at the end there, when Luke freaks out when he learns that Vader is his father, if instead of freaking out, he would have just stopped and talked to his dad and hugged him and stuff. That it would have been a better story. That would have been the stupidest goddamn story ever told in the history of science fiction, and would have made Return of the Jedi impossible. Even with its weaknesses, Return of the Jedi was still kind of badass, and it would have screwed everything up. Luke would have never had a robot fucking hand, and they would have just had Vader and Luke cuddling. This is what the writers of Lost think makes better TV. Instead of massive
really
conflict,
don't think that's what they're
let's have
thinking.
the two protagonists snuggle. That's what the Lost writers think we need. That's ridiculous.
Or, differing opinion, he was just saying that so Miles would talk to his dad.
Really? 'Cause
Yeah.
if that's the case,
I think that's obviously the case, Brian.
if that's the case, then half of the dialogue in the episode was to get Miles to talk to
Half
his
the dialogue,
dad.
or maybe 30 seconds
Miles'
of
dad
dialogue.
is Darth Vader?
I mean, it's kind
Look,
of ridiculous.
I didn't think the episode moved anything along. I agree with you on that point. I thought it was still interesting because I like the character of Miles, but they've had much stronger episodes, and I'm looking forward to better episodes where they do move things along.
Yeah, where
but
they move things along. Yeah,
I couldn't disagree with you more on that part.
it's ridiculous.
I think you were just reading way too much into it because you want to hate the show.
Go back and listen to the last
You
few
have
episodes
you have
of
said that
Casta.
you liked it, but
Yeah,
you said it
exactly.
begrudgingly. You have always said it begrudgingly.
Yeah.
But
He's I
like,
like
yeah,
it, but
Lost is good lately.
It's
it
entertaining,
got
but-
better. That's the thing. is
And
it
even
got
on the
better,
episodes,
and
you
then
still
it hit
like,
a
well, like
point.
Lost does, but then you're like, yeah, okay, it was good.
Well, it was terrible for like a season and a half. I mean, it was awful. It was barely watchable.
Watch them again
So-
back to back.
I cannot
All
do
of them.
that. That is really mean to suggest that I should do that.
I'm in the midst of catching up. Maybe.
I'm not going to watch that.
All right,
with you.
all right.
You have to suffer through that on your own.
All right.
You'll like it. Tim.
Shit.
You will.
Seriously,
I'm just
though,
starting
come
season
on.
3.
This
I
is
do
all I'm
like
going to
it.
say. Unless we can get direct quotes from the writers that was not their intention, I'm going to have to assume that their intention.
Assume something that they never said to us.
But here's the thing. Is if based on their past storylines, most of their storylines revolve around the character interaction is far more important than the stuff happening. Now, like they'll have an episode where there will be 3 minutes of action, and then there'll
that's
be
Ron Moore.
50
That's Ron
minutes
Moore.
of flashbacks about
Well, maybe that's why he hates
hanging
it.
out, going around shopping at places, and talking to people and crying and stuff. And that's what Lost is.
Don't forget about crying in the rain.
Seriously,
Crying in the Rain.
how
They
much
do that.
crying in the rain can I get? Anyway, let's talk about Heroes for a second because we're going to disagree on this one really quick.
Uh-oh. Are we really?
Heroes, I'm really liking. You guys have any problems with Heroes?
No, I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
I've been
really
liking the last few
it,
I will say...
Wow, I figured you guys would hate it because
Uh,
you guys have been hating Heroes for a
well-
while now.
well, let me
No,
say
I'm a
this.
fanboy kind of.
Let me say this. I am a little over Siler's emotional issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
is
am a
getting
little-
old.
They overplayed that a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Everybody's.
they did.
To
Yeah.
be honest, I'm tired of people flip-flopping and being inconsistent
I
on their
agree.
character choices.
I agree.
A few of them they're getting better with. Suresh's choice to stay when everybody else was going off to form the new
Tyler's
company.
mom is
Yeah,
played by
what
Ellen
was
Green of Little
that?
Shop of Horrors.
What
Yeah.
was that?
So they could just...
Yeah, that's right.
Now, let me ask you this. What happened last episode? I don't what happened?
Did you watch it?
I watched.
Turns out Siler's crazy.
Yeah, that's what we found out. Is Siler is very
Extremely
upset.
crazy.
That's all we found
Yeah.
out.
And he
He's
can
like,
cry.
yeah,
He can
pretty
cry.
much, really.
We
You
hadn't
know,
really seen him cry
He's totally
like that
Bates
before.
Motel.
You know that's kind of what we found out was that he's Bates Motel, and Rebel is kind of coming into the forefront a little more, and that's really about it. I think.
Yeah.
So, Brian, what were the
They
writers
moved
trying to tell
forward.
us in this Heroes episode that they didn't actually say?
Honestly, I think they were trying
That
to tell us
everybody should
nothing
hug their
because
mother.
no, I think
Oh.
they were trying to tell us nothing because they really are just kind of waffling.
If
it.
people are watching the video version, it just paid off. It just paid off big
Totally
time.
did.
Siler holding the kitty, trying to be awesome.
That explains why you watched
Holding
it
it
wrong.
and threatening to cut through its brain.
Yes, he's doing the
He
finger
wants to steal
thing.
the kitty's
He's
powers.
doing the finger thing.
He wants to know how the kitty works.
But he wants to know how the kitty works. That's funny.
But overall, I did like this one more than I liked the last episode.
I did.
Lost.
I didn't.
You didn't like this last episode of Heroes?
I didn't like it more than I liked the last episode of Lost because I just, nothing's happening right now.
No,
There were some throwaway
it
things.
was
I mean,
it was a little stagnant. The episode before this last episode, a lot happened. This last episode kind of just sat there.
There was
And
a
Yeah.
lot of talking and
I
telling
don't-
how
Now
people got where
they
they
did
are.
I
potentially.
don't mind 1 or 2 episodes of
Sure.
sitting, but
No,
I want
sure.
to see it move.
No, they
more.
did.
Yeah.
They did potentially set up a few cool things. Siler could potentially be the one that saves them all from the current predicament.
Yeah.
I'm sure
But
not.
only so that he can eat their brains.
Probably.
If he's consistent at all.
Right. But they did set that up, so that could be kind of interesting. He's now going as Nathan, and he's probably going to run for president as Nathan. That's kind
not
of
run for
interesting.
president. Touch
He's
the
just going to
president.
touch the president.
That's the whole
Yeah.
thing. Is he's going to touch the
Right.
president, then he can
Right.
become the president.
Right. Yeah. That's what I meant is that
How
he's
gross
going to
is it
become
that he picked
president.
up
I
Nathan
guess
from a toothbrush,
really
though?
that's the thing that happened in this last episode is that they set that up as a plot point coming.
It was kind
Meh.
of a setup episode, and just
Yeah,
the
it
fact
really
Meh.
was.
and just the fact that like he's having trouble controlling some of his powers, at least as far as the shapeshifter.
Oh
goes.
yeah. And someone in the chat room
Which is
just pointed
interesting.
out. Also, Hero got a bloody nose, and that's cool.
Oh, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
I don't know what's going on there. It might have been a side effect of Baby Touch and Go.
Maybe touch and go, power blocking things. Maybe his power takes a toll on him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of weird how all of a sudden Ando could have could go with the stop time.
Well, it was when he touched him.
When he's
They
touched
keep
by
modifying
Hero,
his powers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
That's
keep
okay.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really needs to.
Well, he's been able to do that in the past, hasn't he? People have.
Yeah, he can grab him and take people with him.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
couldn't. He
But
couldn't freeze time.
He's
with
never
him.
done that with
But
freeze time.
he wasn't
Oh.
touching Ando.
You know, I don't know. Maybe it's
Yeah,
just
he
that they
was.
never
No.
did that.
No,
No, they
remember
say
they were
that he
they
was
were
touching
walking
him.
they were walking around separately.
No, but he touched him when
He touched
stopped
him, and then they could walk around separately.
because he touched him
Once
to
a
say,
second.
No, I don't
"I'm
think so, you
sorry."
guys.
Yeah,
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 they
they
were-
were
they-
always touching.
Yeah, they were.
touching.
They
That
were
was the whole
touching,
thing.
yeah.
That's what he figured out. Like,
They
if I
talked
touch
about it
you,
for a
then you're
while,
okay
too.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
That whole your bait.
Okay, that makes sense now. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that does make sense. All right, I
Yeah.
see it.
All
I
right.
see it.
So, do we want to do any spoilers on Heroes of what's coming up?
Do we know? Do you
We
know?
know a little bit.
You got
a
an
little
inside
bit.
track?
I
Very
don't.
little. And I think actually,
Let's
I
do-
watch it online, so I don't see the next week on Heroes.
Yeah,
So
I
maybe
don't
this
think-
has already
I don't
been
think
leaked.
I don't think it's been leaked.
Do a light spoiler.
All right. So so Ali Lauder is going to be back as the girl that froze herself and
Right.
got
And
shattered.
And that's not a huge
Tracy.
surprise.
Oh! I can't
Well, at least they're
stand
not
that
bringing in the
chick.
third of the
Oh, I thought you were
triplets.
gonna go the
They're
other way
actually
there.
bringing back Tracy.
I
Right, that's
hate that actress. I hate all the characters she's played. I was so glad when she was dead, although when she blinked,
Wow.
I knew
Yeah,
it. I cannot
You knew she was coming back.
Damn that actress. I'm so done with that whole character.
I'm the eighth queen.
You know, Iceman
Yeah,
did
it
that.
was
He
not
had to
great.
exist as Mist for like a year.
Man, that sucks.
I know.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's kind of hardcore, is what that is.
What's the actress's name, Brian?
Ali
Ali
Larder.
Larder.
ALI.
And pictures are forthcoming for the video.
She was
viewers.
in Varsity Blues.
Oh yeah,
she's
with the whipping cream.
Yeah, the whipped cream.
The whipping
bikini.
cream girl.
That was her first movie. I think
Yeah.
one of her first big ones.
Yes.
Yeah. And now she's
Really-
apparently banging somebody at Heroes.
Really not
Enough to
yeah.
be killed off twice and still is on the show.
Not not for the B. Not for the B man.
No, you're not a big fan?
Not for the B man
No
is what I've
penis.
got to say, everybody. So that's actually about all I had. Anything you
Okay.
guys want to bring up?
Well, we should apologize.
What?
What's
we,
happening?
we have an apology coming.
What do we got?
So people are in the chat right now, and people probably tuning in are kind of expecting a Star Trek movie review.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that
okay,
was funny.
that-
You guys didn't know.
That
Our
listen,
bad.
No. Here
Our bad.
in our defense, last episode we said that we'd have a review of Star Trek because it was coming out. It came out in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And so I assumed that meant we were getting a newer release here. That did not happen because apparently Australia is cooler than we are.
Not just a day ahead.
No, like
but like a
weeks.
month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is ridiculous,
Yes.
guys. We have another. When's it coming out? What's the?
I'm looking at it right now. I think it's May 8th.
I
I'm
think
really
it's
surprised
the
you guys
8th.
don't know, but I'm pretty
The
sure.
reason I don't know is because it could
7th.
Be, it could be any
The
day.
7th.
May 7th.
Yeah, May 7th. It'd be any day possible, and I would go. So
It
it's-
doesn't really matter.
The day
yeah.
does not matter.
I will be there the very first showing I can anywhere.
What if it just came out and you
Here.
didn't know?
Oh, Brian, we also, before we go,
Oh yeah, let's talk about this briefly.
we got to talk about the Sarah Connor
Okay,
Chronicles.
okay.
We got to
Oh,
talk about
huh.
this.
We don't know anything though. Is the problem? Here's
Well,
the thing.
I have an
So-
interesting thing. I'm not sure if you have in your notes because I haven't read your notes yet, but I might have something
You
interesting.
go lay it on us. Lay it on us.
Well, somebody in the chat room earlier during the pre-show pointed out that right now, so the WB actually, I guess, are the people that produce Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Yep.
And the WB is currently in negotiations with Sci-Fi to potentially run it
You mean
over
Sifi?
on the Sifi network. And now here's the only hang-up, though, is it's not about money. It's Sifi wants to have creative control over the future direction of the show.
Wait, wait, wait.
And-
wait. You mean
And the guys making the show currently already have...
Fox?
No, Sci-Fi.
No, but Fox has control of the show currently.
Right, and Sci-Fi
Not
wants
WB.
creative control. And they already have they already kind of have like an arc planned out. And
Right, because it's supposed to tie in with the movies at some point.
right,
Mhm.
and so
We're close
Sci-Fi
already.
wants
Yeah.
doesn't want to own the rights. They want to own the creative rights to the Sarah Connor Chronicles. So they want to be able to change the direction of it, and the producers are like kind of sticking to that right now. That's where they're hung up at.
Mm.
But it might end up on Sifi.
Well, if it's somewhere,
Huh.
that's kind of cool, I guess. I mean, better someplace than not, unless they totally
What
The
screw it
show
over.
has been good,
It's
but
been great.
it could very easily take a turn for the worse.
Take a turn for the
Any
Mansquito.
show could.
Yeah.
Take a turn for the Mansquito. The Mansquito was not a series that suddenly became Mansquito. It's not like we were watching The
know.
Godfather, and 5 hours into the series of the epic series of The Godfather, it became Mansquito.
I know. I just like that Sifi felt the need to like produce and put money behind a movie called Mansquito.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Now,
I watched a sci-fi original movie the other day called The Sands of Oblivion. It's Adam Baldwin.
before we go too off track,
Ice Spiders.
I like Adam
That's
Baldwin.
a good one.
before
Ice
we go too
Spiders.
off track, we should probably share our thoughts on the finale.
All right.
It was amazing,
Action-packed.
awesome.
It was incredible.
Prison
It was
Break.
So dangerous.
Prison Break 2.
According to Fox, it was so dangerous.
It
Prison
was
breaks are
it was
dangerous.
fantastic
Yeah.
TV. It was
24, according to Fox, is so compelling.
Yeah,
It was-
so.
It was a
nailed
fantastic
it.
season finale.
Yeah.
They
It was amazing.
You know, I thought it was a series finale when I had heard that it was on the rocks so much.
Uh-huh.
I think that they ended it fine. I don't see a reason to go any further.
I love you.
well
The
they
fact that they split off into,
No. I think they got a lot of ways to go. It's a big, long, epic
well, for one
story
thing,
arc.
I mean, big spoiler. Cameron is a robot. She has been for the entire thing. If they keep going with the series, she's no longer a robot.
she's a robot. Well, that's
Because,
not really
like,
true.
He just saw the original girl that she was modeled after.
Mhm.
She was playing with the dog.
But
Dogs bark at Terminators.
yeah,
Right.
but that doesn't mean anything.
No, it means a lot.
No, it
That-
doesn't.
that-
I mean-
that chick is not a Terminator.
Yeah, she's not. But first, they could still jump back in time and just bring the chip back inside John Henry,
Mhm.
or that doesn't mean that chick isn't going to get captured like the original chick was, and then they make a copy of her. That could still
Mhm.
happen. And
Yeah.
I mean, so it just might mean that John tries to make a
And
move.
there's no
Mhm.
reason to think that John is going to stay there in that future area.
When you have
Right.
a genre that's built around time traveling, you really can't
Yeah.
make any assumptions.
You can't make any assumptions. And I mean, the reality is, if you look at the aging of the show and you think about the movie that's coming out and how old John Connor is.
John Connor.
When John Connor is, when he sees his first
Ian
Terminator that has the human skin grafted on it, it makes sense for current John Connor to have gone back to the time he was at previously and continued to age. So that actually would make sense for him to go back in time.
There you go.
I don't know.
To roughly where he was. Not necessarily exactly, but roughly around there.
But But as far as just like a TV show goes, I thought it was incredible. Now, John,
it was great.
You haven't watched the series, so you watched it.
I watched it.
As a person who hasn't been following along, I have two questions for you. The first question is, what did you think? And the second question is why isn't this show as popular as I think it should be?
Well, to answer your first question, what did I think? I liked what I understood. You know, there are some things. It wasn't really a standalone episode, and it's not supposed to be. I was just kind of trying to follow along. But there was some action. That it was I could tell what they were trying to do, and I liked what I saw quite a bit. So I'm definitely gonna kind of start over from the beginning. And why?
So you did like it.
I did like it, yes.
Yeah.
And why didn't I? Why isn't it? What was your other question? Why isn't it more
Well,
popular?
what did you pick up from the show when you were watching this that you think has prevented it from becoming as popular as I think it should be?
I don't know. Time slot. Maybe people are kind of afraid that it's just going to be like a ripoff of the movies, you know. And there have been some kind of failures of movie TV shows. Like for example, the TV show Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
But there wasn't.
Oh,
but
man,
there.
that was
But there
terrible.
wasn't like when you watched the show, there wasn't something that jumped out at you and said, "Oh, this is a bad show because of."
No, I thought it was a great show.
See, that's what I wanted to know because I'm like, why is this? I mean, to me,
You know, it's got to boil down to time slot and
Dude, American Idol is huge. TV viewers, especially in America, though I'm sure worldwide, are dumb. Why? Because people are dumb.
Yeah.
People
Put it
are
on
dumb
after American
and have
Idol, you know.
bad taste.
Fringe is on after American Idol, and that does well. If they could get this the
That's
right
what
time
I'm
slot
saying.
and promote it,
It has
you know?
nothing to do with content. It has nothing to do with quality. And Fringe is a worse show than Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles. Ergo, it will do better than Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles because it's dumber. You can watch it and be dumber and be less nerdy,
And you know,
and you'll enjoy it more.
I think probably part of the other reason is, and one of the reasons that I haven't really been following the show is because it's not episode by episode. You know, like Fringe is.
It's an arc.
It's an
but you
arc
like
storyline.
you like having an arc.
I love that. I do, but I need to get in at the beginning. You know,
Yeah.
so if I'm not,
I hear ya. I
so
hear ya.
if people aren't in it, they're not going to be in it.
I hear you.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah,
That's why I
I'm
haven't
with
been watching
Chris on that one.
Supernatural.
And Supernatural again is a great show, but it's actually been doing pretty well in the ratings. It kind of got a boost this season, which is funny because it's not its best season. It's been doing good. It's been enjoyable, but it's like the previous seasons have been a lot better.
I'm just bumming because there's a pretty good chance that it's not coming back, and I really would like to see more of this show.
Yeah.
And it was the season finale was fantastic. Even if I think, and John, you can back me up here in just a sec, maybe or maybe not. If you haven't watched the whole show, watch the season finale just for good TV. Now, what do you think? Is that true?
I think it's true in a sense.
For
There's a
sure.
lot of stuff that I didn't really quite follow. I
Right.
was able to pick some stuff up, but I think that I would have enjoyed it much more had I been following it all the way through.
Right.
Oh,
Gotcha.
it's rough. It's rough. Well, we can only hope that Fox or whoever comes to their senses and gets this thing going.
I just would be
it's-
so sad if we lost Dollhouse and the Terminator.
I don't think
Sarah
we're in
Connor
danger of
Chronicles.
losing Dollhouse. It seems on pretty solid footing.
Yeah, but you
It
read
has
online,
been
some
for a
people
little
say it's
while.
not.
It sounds like it's on solid footing for this season.
Right.
And if
Right.
by the season finale it's not kicking butt and taking names in the ratings department, I think it could get the axe pretty
And here's the
quickly.
other thing. It was just pointed out in the chat room by Rama or something. Rama?
Ranma.
Ranma. Ranma mentions, that the new Terminator movie was going to be R-rated, and then they cut it up, so it's so now it's PG-13.
Oh,
That's
that always
disappointing.
really works well.
And the problem is
Yeah.
if the Terminator movie flops, then the show's definitely not going to get picked back up. And because our only hope of
Always
saving it,
works well.
our only hope really of saving it would be if the
Movie generates interest.
Yep.
exactly,
Yeah,
and if the
yeah.
movie picks the show
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I agree. It could be a sad day for sci-fi. I mean, it is rough. I mean, just a year ago at this point, we still had Battlestar. We hate it or love it. We still had Stargate Atlantis, and we had all the prospects of future Stargate. We had all these shows going on, and now we're at the point where we might be losing Terminator. We might be
I
losing
know it.
Dollhouse. Like the new shows that came on that we thought might be our saviors, like Fringe, turned out to be giant globs.
And that's
of
the one
not
with ratings.
fun.
That's the sci-fi show right now with ratings. Well,
Right.
And Supernatural.
That's got to be time slot.
It is.
It's
yeah,
all time
it's totally.
slot.
It's got to be
Now,
time
now
slot.
Supernatural kind of lucked out. They kind of coasted by for the first few seasons. They barely made it for quite a while, and I think they just kind of hit a critical mass at some point where they managed to get over that hump.
Right.
But I mean, it's hard to get to that
Well,
point.
and-
It's
and-
hard for these new shows.
And honestly, Brian, the truth is for Supernatch, the ratings criteria is not as
It's
what
not as high.
it's not what it is for a Fox
yeah.
show.
It's
yeah,
CW.
exactly.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to pull in as much viewers to make enough money to keep going. So it's rough. I mean, it's very rough. All right, I think that pretty much wraps it up. So this means
Maybe what we need is a new Star Trek.
Yeah, that should
this
save
means
it all.
that next episode we will not have a Star Trek review for you.
Correct.
But we will be close to being able to
Super
watch
close, right, Brian?
a new Star Trek
Super
movie.
close.
That's how it works.
Super duper close.
All right.
Sorry.
If you guys want to talk about any of the stuff we talked about on the show today, head over to jupiterbroadcasting.com/4 and head over there and you can just talk. There's a CastaBlasta section with you can click the link and then type, and it's fun and everyone enjoys that. It's
Word.
a good time for
Yeah.
everybody. You can also get a hold of us via email. Isn't that right, Chris?
Absolutely, Brian. You could email us CastaBlasta@jupiterbroadcasting.com.
Man, what can't we do with domain names
Yeah.
nowadays?
I know,
Are
right?
there shows we should be watching, comics we should be reading? Let us know.
Yeah.
Definitely let us know.
The best place, really, though, these days, I honestly think for CastaBlasta is probably the forum because
Yeah.
you can kind of get your geek on with other people.
Yeah,
and that's kind of fun.
Come on, you don't. If you're getting really nerdy, it should not be in private. This is
No.
what I'm saying.
Right.
It's a public thing,
Right.
guys.
Be
You
proud nerds.
Group nerd it up. That's how
Yeah.
you do it. That's how you play the game.
Exactly.
That's
how you
right.
take over the
All
world.
right, guys.
I'm doing it.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Hop in again in 2 weeks, and we will not, under any circumstances, review Star Trek.
Okay. There you have it.
There I go.
That's so official. All right. I hope everybody enjoyed the video version. Video version's going to stop recording. We'll still be streaming for a few minutes, but the video version's going to stop recording.
Neither. We
go.
actually we talked. Was it 2 episodes ago?